No. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's on Zoom.
Okay, 6 o'clock. Am I to do this, Ira?
Yep.
Okay. 6 o'clock, call to order. We have approval of minutes, 8/21/25. Has everybody had a chance to look at those? I have one question on here, Teresa. That's on park board nominations. But it's under new business. I mean, it's under new business. So we have to do it again. Okay, never mind. If everybody had a chance to look at our, I need a nomination. I need a approval.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from August 21st.
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Nays?
Abstain, I wasn't here.
Okay. Public participation. Do we have anybody today?
I came to speak to you guys tonight. I got an update on Earl Park. I'm trying to keep Ira in the loop also, but this is the time that I can speak to it. I wanted to give you an update from Bob Gordon. As the Cameron representative or the Rotary representative, that's why I'm speaking to you guys. We contracted with him to clean up all of the trees up there, and so he went there and he did that. In doing that, he looked at all of them to see if everybody was healthy and all that kind of stuff. Last time, you guys talked about 2 ash trees that are on the east side of the park, and Bob sent me a special message about those. Those are actually autumn purple ash trees, is what he says. They come from, they're a clone of a specific male white ash tree found on the campus of the University of Wisconsin in 1905, and then it was cloned for retail sales in 1956. So these guys were very rare. If the city, he says that he would really like to see us put the money into treating the trees every year so that they will continue to grow and be a part of the park. And Rotary has said that if he wants to do that and the city doesn't, and it doesn't matter to us either way, the Rotary said that if he wants to do that, as well as he offered to maintain the trees up there, Rotary's already talked about it at Rotary and voted on it, and if you guys are okay with it, we would like to have, pay for the chemicals that need to be put on those trees to help preserve them, and then let him take care of them every year as far as trim them up and taking care of anything that needs to be gotten rid of. He said a couple of other things that he also said in that message was to replace those trees, it would easily cost $3,000-4,000 a piece. They would not have the canopy size of these trees that are there, and the root structure of the trees that are there will not damage any of the concrete, whereas putting in new trees, we could do some damage with that situation. So that is his update on that. The other update I would give you is also the fact that we have a landscaper that's coming in next week. He's going to look at the water drainage issue, and he will talk to all of us, keeping Ira in the loop also with this situation. And that's, we're going to start with him working on that drainage issue so that there's not the water problem between the building and the park. Rotary is wanting to take care of that to the extent that we can provide grant for it, we are willing to do that.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for all the help with Rotary too. I know everybody appreciates anything that we can do.
Anybody else, public participation? You got-
Marty Gray. I want to make sure before I get the police department involved in this, if anybody gave permission for the go-karts and the dirt bikes to be using the soccer fields off of West Street. They're doing some damage to it. I don't agree with them being up there.
The skate park?
Yeah, at the
Oh, you talking about actually
soccer field.
on the soccer field?
They're on the soccer field.
Really?
I live fairly close, and one evening I was recognized when I met with another woman in that area, and there was a man holding up like this net, and the little boy was just riding and
Well, mom and dad was out there too. They're riding, they got 2 go-karts and a couple dirt bikes. They're doing damage to that turf out there after all the work that's been done and the water lines that's been put in out there. I don't know if you guys want to post it or what, but I'll get these guys and talk to them when they're not so busy and let them know what's going on. But
It's got the irrigation system back of a run up down there too, trying to keep that grass down there.
I live right down the street from basically across from Botto's lot. And 2 days ago, this guy, he had a old school quad runner, and he decided, and he runs up Prospect all the time on that quad, so I'm sure he's going up there too, but this day in particular, I got him on camera filming. He was doing donuts in Botto's grass area along Prospect, right after that rain we had. So I filmed him, and of course called the police, and they came and looked at the video. But I told them this guy rides all over the neighborhood, clear up Prospect on that old quad runner, and I don't know where he goes once he goes past to the west of Prospect. But he's heading right to them where he's talking about.
So the police has your video?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, they brought these in on a trailer. I don't know if it's the same guy,
Yeah.
but they brought them in on a trailer. There was two go-karts and 3 mini dirt bikes.
Yep.
They're out there doing donuts. They're out there speeding around, jumping over where the bleachers are between the two. With all those water hits sticking up out of there, and
I was not aware of that, Marty.
not in the parking lot, you mean out on the.
in the grass, yeah. Lisa and I watched them, and we went on we had to conduct some business on our hillside, but yeah, they're not doing it any good.
Did you get their plate number or anything, or?
Did I? No, but I've got a description. I'm gonna give it to the police department.
Never ceases to me.
Well, I don't know if you guys want to post that or not. I know they're not supposed to be up there anyway, but that's the 3rd time I've seen them up there.
We have signs that says no ATV. Did we post one at skate park?
They just posted. They're still there, grindstone. It says no ATVs.
Signs aren't gonna stop them,
No.
if they wanna do it.
It'll be citizens
Yeah.
saying something to the PD about it. Thank you for the information.
Anybody else for public? Okay, come on up.
I came up to ask about, what's the status on the floating dock at Grimes? I've heard rumors that we're gonna sell it or it's up for sale or
It's on Purple Wave, gonna be sold,
why?
because it's unrepairable. I had a guy, professional guy look at it, and it's unrepairable. The frame's been on, the tubs are all got holes in it and stuff. So it's not that we're not going to replace it. It's just, we can't replace anything on it, so we're gonna sell it, try to get some money out of it,
I got it.
and then with time, put another one out there.
Good, that makes me happy.
No, it's not, we're not gonna happen.
I take my dad, I go pick him up at the, nursing home, and he's in a wheelchair, so I have another wheelchair, I'll get him. But I take him out there all the time, I don't know if you guys fish there or go out there a lot, but you'd be amazed how far people come. I run into people out there from Kansas City, from St. Joe, there's people come long distances to fish that and enjoy it, but on my little part of the world, my dad, he's in a wheelchair, and something like that really helps handicapped folks and disabled. So I'm glad to hear that you're.
No, I want to definitely put something back in.
Yeah.
We gotta get that area cleaned up. It's been an eyesore for 4 or 5 years, something of that nature, probably.
Well, I'm out there a lot, and, just what Marty was saying about the people, using quad runners and crap, where they have no business out there. You guys got signs posted, no, I mean, no motorized vehicles beyond this point. The neighbors that live up the road, they use that as their own personal mud trap. They're running up and down the dam, racing back and forth across the dam. They're tearing their signs out. I videoed them out there one day, walked up to the road, stopped fishing. That's before I had my boat. I got them on video, who it was, there's a bunch of kids that live up the road. We called the city of Cameron and told them, I said, hey, I got video of them. Who's tearing this place up? And I never got a call back on. Got them on up close and personal. This is who's cutting ruts up and down the dam and destroying things, and no one ever called me back. And I get it's a gray area up there.
Oh, it's not really gray.
Well,
It's mine, but
yeah, but where I mean, it's a gray area is the conservation controls what happens on the water.
right,
City police is, I think, in charge of what happens on the land.
right.
And it's so far out of town that the, police don't have time to go out there, so.
I got police running around in circles trying to chase everything, and
Oh, I
obviously
know.
I missed them at the skate park too. so.
Yeah. No, and I'm not throwing rocks at nobody.
No, I understand. No, I mean, if you see stuff like that, I mean, you have my email, feel free to email me.
Yeah.
because The phones and stuff are messed up there, and a lot of people, I mean, you gotta get on the website to know what the phone number is or whatever, and not blaming anybody. I didn't ever get the message or anything on that, but, I mean,
Yeah,
everybody, my email's on the website, feel free to email me any questions about it, so. But no, we are, having said that about the dock, we needed to get rid of that eyesore out there.
yeah,
And that was the best way, there's so many things with being a city municipality and stuff like that, a dock, you can't just throw a couple of 55-gallon tubs out there with tuber floors on it and
Yeah.
call it good.
yeah,
It's gotta be ADA regulated and stuff like that, and Burma has to come up and check it out, the whole 9 yards, so, we had to get rid of that to get the area cleaned up, and then we are planning to replace it. It may not be as big, but it's gonna
Yeah.
be something nice and it's gonna be accessible for people in wheelchairs. So,
good.
you gotta, and one thing about it is it's gonna cost a little bit of money for it. You gotta have a 40-foot ramp to get out there, so the
Yeah.
reservoir will fluctuate
Yeah,
too. No, it's gonna be a project to do, and the good thing about out there is there's grants available, so it will help a little bit on the cost.
when before it came off the water one day, I drove down just after I had my boat, but I seen these, a bunch of hoodlums up on the roof of the darn thing, jumping off into the lake.
Better be careful, there's a lot of concrete right there.
Oh, I know. I thought, well.
Our part of
we're
it
coming up
getting
to
cold
do
out
that.
there. EMS.
park board, or any plans to replace that or anything? I haven't been at a few meetings.
It just
so-
kind of came up with, I wanted to get, it's been talked about for quite a while about the dock out there. Well, I've moved forward with putting it on Purple Wave and stuff, so it was gonna be on the agenda meetings and stuff, but it ain't, nothing's happening right now. We're getting ready to go into winter.
I just haven't been here for a few meetings, but I didn't know if you guys been talking about it or not.
Any other public participation, Sue?
So with that said, have we got a plan in the future to maintain assets of the city instead of letting them get to the point that we pull them out and let them sit for a long time? And we're at the point now it won't be cheap, I'm sure, to purchase this. So as in other city assets in the past, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but I'm just saying, as in the past, we've not had any kind of maintenance or, timely maintenance on our assets, and we need to start taking care of them. So the park board, will you guys have some kind of a maintenance on this? Monthly in the summertime, just to make sure that everything's working as it should. And then in the wintertime, there's a little bit of issue. I have a dock. And because it's a two-well dock, so that makes it a little bit different, because if the water freezes, it affects the dock. And it will turn the dock, it will do damage. So it's prudent to be sure that when you purchase something like this, that anything that we purchase, that we're maintaining it. And it's I understand it's old, I get that, but, historically, we as in citizens and everybody, and the city and everybody, we just haven't taken care of stuff. And it's time we start taking care of stuff. And I think now with some of these things that we're seeing that weren't taken care of, we'll be more prudent with any asset that we purchase. So that's just a thought. Have some kind of a regular maintenance on anything of the city, on the parks, anything. And it's nothing more than just going, taking a quick look, and not forgetting it's out there. That's all.
Ideas?
Does the city of Cameron draw water, since we got the water line, do they draw water out of Grindstone still?
I don't know, that's out of the parks wheelhouse. I'm not gonna speak for the water department. I'm not sure.
Well, I was thinking the other day, if the city of Cameron no longer needs that for a water source, and it's kind of a burden on the city since it's so far out of town, maybe that'd be a good way to, I don't know if you could sell something like that, but if it's out of city limits and if we don't use it for a water source.
I think they're still using it for a water source as of right now. I like that. I'm not trying to speak for any other department.
Suggestion. Chris had made a good suggestion, a long time ago about having a park board oversee different areas of the parks. Have an area once a month you cover, you just run by, check on it, quick check, just to see how it's doing, if it needs any help. Just to help Ira out, since he is usually undermanned. I think that's an easy solution to oversee some things.
Quite a few times.
You just mentioned that a minute.
As a board, like to have two people go visit this park once a month, two people go visit this park, come up with a list, give the parks maintenance, here you go. These are things that need to be done, these are things that we would like to see done and need to happen.
Having said that, the park board, I think, has done, and the parks department's done a pretty good job in the short time that I've been here. We replaced Beavers Park shelter house. We re-roofed 2 shelter houses in Rec Park. We resurfaced the entire tennis courts and made it into pickleball courts. We finally got that new piece of playground installed and stuff, with all that rubber coating and whatnot. We've been working on the soccer fields as far as irrigation and stuff. I mean, so between the park board and the park staff, in the 8 or 9 months, we've done quite a bit, but, Rome wasn't built in a day. And like Sue said, there's been a lot of maintenance that has been overlooked for it.
I agree. Like, you guys have got a lot done, a lot more than all the years I've been on the park board. So we appreciate that.
I mean, well, that's what I was telling
Yeah.
Brother Chris. I mean, there
But
is, it's starting.
Yeah.
It just takes a little.
But the problem is, like, if you're not here forever, Clay's not here forever, you know, to have some checks and balances in place.
Oh, yeah.
You know, well, I'm just saying,
Last guy wasn't much older.
you know, just to make sure things don't fall through the cracks, you know. It doesn't hurt to have a
No, I like
backup.
that idea of having board members and stuff, kind of checking on what, on stuff. That's cool.
Marty's got something.
Marty?
I got two things. Well, back in the
You're
day.
only allowed one.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna add to my 5 minutes if I can still get 5. Back in the day, the city council used to do that once a year too. They'd go and inspect all their assets. They don't do that anymore. They need to start. I don't remember the board doing that per se. You can tell me correctly if I'm wrong, Ted. But the city council used to do that. The two I've talked to in the last couple of days, they don't do that anymore, but they're thinking, yeah, they need to start it. Because you're right, we have a lot of money invested in this community, assets. And going from that conversation to the next one is, what are we doing about this guy up here at the new ballpark that's living up there? You know,
He hasn't been there for 2 or 3 days.
well, he was up there the other day standing on those picnic tables. Those aren't for standing on or sleeping on like he was doing.
What was we out there last Friday and we were getting the fields ready for soccer on Saturday and whatnot. And I booted this crap out of the bathroom out of there and had a little chat with him and said, hey, you know, you can't be here. You can't sleep in here.
We have
I said,
ordering
"Too," I
signs
said,
up when the park's closed, or we locking those
We do
gates?
now. Well, we're not locking the gates, but we have signs up to close at 11.
Something to give our law
PD
enforcement a
has been,
little.
I mean, extremely well about running around checking stuff for us, so.
Well, next time I see him out there jumping up and down on picnic tables, I'll probably take care of it myself.
I hadn't seen him there. Well, obviously you probably did something, because I hadn't seen him there for 2 or 3 days.
That's taxpayer money.
If we can ever figure out how to cut the cost of vandalism or equal out vandalism and crime.
You find that, you look at that.
Yeah, I know, it would be a
I
miracle.
mean, Parks Department has sunk in thousands of dollars of vandalism and trying to add, we added more cameras and security and a freaking alarm system and it's helping. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's helping.
So are the soccer bathrooms not on the time block?
We put them on the timer, but I haven't got around there. Tonight might be a good night, maybe go and check them. You know, the park closes at 11, and I don't know if I ought to say this publicly or not, but I lock them down at 9. On the automatic timers, they lock at 9. If you're in there after dark and stuff, probably not gonna hang out with the kids, so you can go somewhere else to use the bathroom. Just for the simple fact is, we've had a lot of vandalism, and we spent a lot of money on that.
They're gonna be in there more now trying to get into heat. I heard they lived in the.
But yeah, it's a.
Still plan on locking them up for the winter this year.
Oh, yeah.
Rising everything.
We're gonna start winterizing probably, I'd say the 1st of November, and the only ones that are gonna be, and they're not even open all the time, is the portable bathrooms. But after the lighting, they're gonna be shut down.
So you found a gentleman in the bathroom?
I find them all the time.
That's not unusual.
We find them all the time, Clay finds them all the time. No, we're on first name basis with some of them.
Yeah, that's daily.
Come on, Rachel, we gotta move on.
Oh, my. Okay. Anybody else? Public participation? Okay, how about financial report, Ira?
As Kristen's request, I put Fund 15 in there. You guys can go down, like I said, on the first couple of pages is your Fund 12 is what the park board, I think it's the first 3 pages, what the taxes will generate inside of that. And that's what you guys will be spinning out of there with one line item, and it's on the 3rd page, 12-44-275, your capital project. So that line item is where all of the purchasing orders and stuff will come out for any park improvements. you guys can look through there. I sent that to you on your email and put it in your packets as well. Like I said, I have no problem showing you guys whatever you want to see.
So I'm not. I have questions.
I've been learning. About it.
So are we currently negative 118,000 in this fund?
No, you're currently negative one in Fund 12?
No, in fund 15.
No. We are,
It was just under the column of available balance.
no, that's the combination between, I think, both of them on that for the total. I think the balance that we have, the total expenses is 592.
So that's what is in
I think that's what's,
fund 15, and then
and having said all that, with this being budget time and stuff, Carmen, the finance director, has been moving money around from funds to funds, trying to keep everybody in the black as well. So. But like I said, like I told you guys before, on your very first page, your 3 taxes coming in, those are the 3 that will come in for your expenses. And if you look into the right column where it says 197,000, that's roughly of what it's going to be for you guys per year to spend on park improvements.
out of fund 12.
Out of Fund 12. The one fund that you were talking about for just Somerville and stuff, Kristen, it's on the very last page. I believe it is 15-41-27501, capital project community. At 500,000, that is Somerville only money, that bond money.
So we still have all the $400.
Yeah, we didn't.
Out of that.
We didn't spend because we're saving that back for the parking lot project.
Okay.
And whatever else we want to spend up on. I'm guessing when we get finished up, which we got a couple more weeks before the fiscal year and stuff, this will look a lot cleaner for you guys and stuff too.
I'm curious, on the revenue fund, say we want to do a parking project at New Park. Who approves that money for that parking project?
Well, it's like anything, Chris, but if it's over 15,000, it's got to go to the front of city council for.
But it doesn't become a vote any longer through us. Is that correct?
No, you guys still vote. You guys want to do a project, and some of you may not want to do it. Some of you might. If you want to put another piece of playground in, or redo the fireman's memorial up there, or add something to the other parks, for our
So
park
we
improvement.
still have somewhat some control over that fund.
Yes, that, out of
Okay.
Fund 12, that is your control money, but like I said, when it comes to anything over 15,000,
Right.
it's got to go for, and that's with anything,
That's with anything, I know.
and that's got to go to city council approval.
Right. I'm just saying,
We're not-
they're not gonna just say, okay, parking project sounds good, we're gonna go ahead and do that and bypass park board. Because they control that fund now officially.
So that tax money on those 3 line items and stuff is for park board use only and for your approval and stuff. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke at you or nothing. If you want a new piece of playground equipment or whatever, and the city council may vote it down, I don't know. You figure out how they think. Tell me. I don't know. I've brought resolutions to them and thought it was a shoe in the bag, and they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So then you go back to the drawing board and do something else.
It's just frustrating because, a lot of the park board that was on here was responsible for even getting that park built and the bond passed and everything, and then for them to just go around and move that half-cent sales tax to their control is very, very highly frustrating without it going through the park board. And the community voted for that at that time. I know you weren't around here and everything else, but just so the public's aware.
If I was around here, it's not in my.
I know it's not. But as long as everybody's aware, that is a fund that we used to be able to oversee, that Fund 15. So everybody new on the park board is aware of that. What happened with it, the city council voted to turn it into a recreation fund where they don't necessarily have to go through us if they don't want.
Well, like I said, the majority of that Fund 15 stuff, that is, operation and maintenance. That's all your salaries, heating and cooling, structure, maintenance of ground, stuff all comes out of that. It takes, and the debt service. I mean, you guys got $800,000 in debt that comes out of that fund as well. So between the pool and the new ballpark.
If I have any questions for Ira. Okay. All right, moving along to staff report.
This will be pretty short and sweet. I did hire a new employee. He will start October 1st. His name's Clayton Baker. He's a younger guy from Hamilton. Hopefully he will work out good. So, excuse me, he'll be starting October 1st. As I said before, I did get all the final touches on the irrigation system. I know it's late in the year, but it was working pretty well when everything started dying off, soccer fields and stuff, and the ball fields were nice and green. So I did go ahead and reach out to archers, and I think I'm going to start a winterization fertilization deal with them and do something in the spring. But the simple fact is the 8U field, that's Somerville and the soccer field. I mean, Clay and I all year long worked like crazy trying to get that grass to grow, and it's just impossible. So they have the experience in the chemicals and stuff, and you can't just go in there and till it up because of the irrigation system. So I mean, if it costs us, and it's not going to come out of the park improvement fund, that's going to be under structure maintenance of ground. So I budgeted money in for that for this winter, spring, and fall to do them to have their 15-step program, whatever it is. My goal is I'm hoping it's looking a lot better by the time the World Cup comes around, because I know that's a big thing, especially in town, and I want that place looking pretty nice out there. So we got that up and going. Did not know this, and you guys probably didn't either, but we were not a tree city since 2021. So that got brought up in the city council meeting. So I looked into it, and I do have our application in and applied for it. I'm still waiting to hear back on whether we get it or not, but we do qualify for it. So I'm not sure what all the perks are behind it, but
You know how that got dropped? We've been meeting because we also serve as the tree board.
I was able to log into that, Chris, and it said the last time that we applied for an application was 2021.
We certainly exceeded the requirements.
I was gonna say, we've been doing the requirements for years.
We exceeded them.
It was the easiest application I've ever applied for.
So somebody
There's
just
some
didn't
pictures
renew it, and somebody
What's
well, didn't renew it apparently?
Well, apparently, and what I didn't know, what I found out is it's around Labor Day every year that you have to reapply for it. So now that I know that, we shouldn't miss it again. Hopefully, maybe get a free flag out of it or discounts on trees. I don't know.
I was gonna ask too, with like one of the scouts that did some work out here around the reservoir as far as naming some of the trees and stuff. And so I didn't know if that they received any sort of grant money for the.
I don't know.
That was an Eagle Scout project, but no, Parks supplied all those plaques. And Matt went out and identified all the trees and did all that for the Eagle Scout, and all that at the time, and then he did all the work for the Eagle Scout project.
I know like Missouri Western and Northwest Missouri State, like they have enough trees where they get quite a bit of grant money because they actually can kind of qualify as like an arbory or whatever. So I didn't know that was something out there.
Well, like I said, it was a pretty easy application on just the stuff that I filled out, as far as per capita and stuff. I think they require like 2.0. I don't even know what that means, but ours is like a 3 something. So, and it's basically a small version for you. It's how much money we put into replanting or removing dead trees throughout the year. Do we do a program for Arbor Day? Do we have a proclamation? We do all that. So it was super easy to do. So I don't foresee anything going wrong with the application to be a tree city. Talked a little bit about the reservoir with the dock out there. We put some old equipment that are, in Sue's words, lack of maintenance that should have been gone a long time ago. So hopefully we'll get some more money out of that equipment and we can put it right back into the parks as far as maintenance equipment. And then, like I said, going to get, like I told you guys before, is with being staffed the way we are, and now that we're running the aquatic center, I can't hardly do 2 or 3 projects in 1 year. You know, maybe 2. Once we get down to this other project that I would like to get the ball rolling on at Somerville, I'm going to try to work on with Lance about working on a grant for that dock too. But other than that, it's just going to be kind of everyday work. I had to babysit that thing on a daily basis. Not that a lot went wrong with it, but you got to just stay on top of it. So working on that. Scoreboard update. I haven't heard any more from Daktronics, but that is all good to go. Last I knew, it was like a 13, 15 week wait. So I'm assuming probably after fall ball, I'm hoping before winter, that the new scoreboards were up. Something I want you guys to keep in mind of what we want to do with the other 3 scoreboards. We want to put them on, just something for you to think about. It's not on the agenda or nothing, but we want to put them on Purple Wave. We want to store them. Maybe sometime in the future, they'd be great scoreboards for the soccer fields because there's no ball strikes or outs on them. They'd be perfect for that. Something for you guys to think about. They're super nice and they're brand new. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
Did they have any kind of like buyback program or anything, or?
I didn't ask about that.
I'd just be curious.
I didn't ask.
If they ever, same company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that price included everything on there with the top of the sponsorship ads and stuff like that. Early's changed their image a little bit, but it didn't affect anything. Other than that, just been busy. Clay and I've been busy working and mowing and keeping up on stuff. I can't think of anything else. You? Oh, speaking of the trails, we went out to cut about 9 dangerous trees, I guess, if you want to call them that. They were hanging over the trails and whatnot. We got asked if we'd go out and look, and then we went out and gave a kind of quick glance. Clay cut them down and threw them off.
Oh, one tree at Rec Park, okay, that one that like leans over that ditch. I see it every day when I go to pick the kids up.
The big one.
That great big one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with that.
I always think about it when I drive by there and it's like right on the edge of that and it's always leaning, you
We
know.
did
I'm
cut that
like,
one down right by the volleyball court.
yeah,
We got that
Saw
one
that.
down, and then that one right by the tennis court.
that one's giant though.
Oh,
and I'm
it's
like,
huge.
It's huge.
yeah,
I can look at it again, but
hopefully it's all
if I
right.
had to guess, judging from what I've seen, I'd say in the next year or 2, it will probably be placed on the risk assessment as well.
I just thought I'd mention it, but like I said, I see it like every day and I'm like, well, how much longer that tree's got?
The good part about it is we're not a tree fort. We have plenty
Right.
of trees still.
Yeah. And we're planting them every year.
And we're planting them every year. So that's all I got. I don't know if Clay's got anything, but that's all I got.
Who's doing the clearing on the north side and the driveway to go into the ballpark? It looks good.
What's his name? He came up to the city hall the other day.
I have no idea.
Behind the old antique shop.
Johnson's last name. He's doing all that clearing back there.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks nice. He's choking me out with his smoke though when he's burning.
You know what they're planning on doing there or? No?
I don't think they put in more soccer fields.
Yeah. The thought.
I'm not sure. I'm not
Put some
sure.
turf ones in.
I don't know whatever he's doing to it. He's made improvements to that land, that's for sure.
Yeah, all right.
That's all I got.
Okay, any questions of Ira on any of this? Okay, new business,
I have brought Bartlett West, named Scott Kilmart. I asked Tad to join us in the meeting tonight. They're going to explain a little bit about Bartlett West, and in your packet, you can see the quote from Bartlett West and then a diagram of the parking lot that would like to try to get the ball rolling on out to Somerville, which has been a hot topic in this community for a long time since I've started. So Scott, would you like to talk a little bit?
Yeah, again, Scott Comark, Parkland West. I've been doing a lot of work with Tad here lately, doing the road design, so I'm a civil engineer. I mostly focus on municipal transportation, but we have a pretty diverse team. We've got landscape architects and civil site engineers that specifically work on site grading. We have an architectural group and all kinds of stuff to be able to do this exact thing we've done for many universities, colleges, and other municipalities for parking lot expansions, parking lot replacements, just all kinds of those types of projects. I can't name them off the top of my head because I normally don't work on those projects, but I'm familiar with, Cameron, with the work I've been doing on the road. So I had to come up here for some other stuff, so I might as well be here and see if I can answer any questions for you. As far as the proposal that's in front of you, it's geared towards kind of the first stage of the project of just getting the survey so we can get the ground mapped out so we can do the proper grading on it, and also put together 2 or 3 different concepts because, that's just a quick layout. That may not be what you finally end up with just because it's in there. We like to give people proposals that show, or a concept phase that kind of shows different options that might have a better traffic flow through it, or different areas that might be able to get, vehicles in and out. So what you see there is just an initial concept based off of what I talked to Ira about. So you take that particular schematic with a grain of salt, but at the same time, that's where we're at. So once we get that concept phase done and everything, we'll come back to Ira or whoever and then figure out which one do we really want, which concept do we want to take to a full design to go out and build. And that will include all the lighting and improvements to the drainage that we'll need to have to put more pavement out there. Probably have to evaluate the drainage basin out there, make sure that it still holds capacity with the additional runoff that will come off the road and pavement. It will increase the water flow from the intensity of the rains. So there's a lot of other stuff that goes on, but that's kind of the next phase of the project. But that's basically it. If you guys have any questions specifically, I can answer.
I just had a couple questions as far as the drainage calculations go. Throughout from 2.5 to 2.6, it's $728 on each one of those. So your estimate to grade the pond area is $728, or am I?
I printed it off and left it at my desk.
Okay, because I'm assuming they're going to use some kind of a loader.
Oh, that's for us designing.
This is the design fee.
This is
okay.
This is
okay.
That's not. Yeah, that's not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
There's Scott. I printed you out the copy.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't worry, I am.
I left it. Like I said, I left it on my desk and I didn't all print it out.
Well, and something else I like to point out to the board is that this isn't, I know what some of you probably been on the board here a while about, this isn't very, this isn't nothing like that. These guys do 9% of what I can tell good work. They've been doing a lot of work in town with the roads and paving roads and stuff. And like Scott said, we can have many different designs and talk about it, and something that you guys want and you guys are going to like. And the reason why I have Pat here is he can comment on anything with Scott's work that he's worked closely with him about. And with projects of something this size, I know a little bit about, but he knows a lot about. So when we go out there and we're going to be looking at stuff, we're going to make sure the stupid concession stand ain't built backwards. Stuff like that.
I will add to that, like, I mentioned to Ira after he talked to me about this project, I followed up with the guys that were involved with that initial project, and we were a sub, and we really only did, the drainage study on it, and I think we did a little bit with the utilities. And as far as that goes, I've heard that all of that worked out well. But, as far as the actual layout and design of ball fields and stuff, we weren't tasked to do that portion of the project.
Are you aware who was out on site, Bartlett and West, on the park build?
What's that?
Do you know who was out on site in Bartlett and West for the park build? Because I know we paid for an engineer to be out there.
We
Like the
did,
entire
we were
project.
tasked, and our guy, I don't know exactly who was out there for that one. I can find out and get you a name for that, but, I believe that portion of it, we were only handling the utility relocation part of it.
Okay.
And that other people were supposed to be,
Nothing to do with like any of the drainage or anything?
not any of the, heavy civil, what I would consider grading the parking lots and grading the ball fields and all that stuff. We were tasked with, construction and observation for that portion of the project. We just handled the utility.
Just utilities and that was it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. On this one, I did have a quick question on the design. On the light poles, we had discussed, is that curb plan, are you planning on taking that curb out between the light poles? We discussed like maybe putting a sidewalk down across there or taking the curb out. Initially, years back, we talked about not even having a curb board there when they built the park and they weren't supposed to. But somebody built that in and they built the curb anyway because we were planning to expand that direction.
So that will come through the concept phase of it, because we don't want to curve all that off, because then you're gonna have to funnel people all the way around. So we're gonna definitely, at least if anything, have ports.
Have islands.
And have islands, and that's part of the other thing. If you guys want trees or specific landscaping and stuff done inside those islands, our team can handle doing that type of, stuff as well. But yeah, we fully intend that it won't completely, we may want to save some of it to save some money, but in essence, it's probably gonna come out and be replaced with something else.
The only other thing I would see, just from initial looks, like, is one exit good enough, like right there in the middle, or should it, do you think it should be larger and further to the west, away from that intersection, or?
Yeah, well, that's, again, like I said.
Concept,
the concept. This is me sketching
Okay,
on
okay.
Google Earth. So
Okay,
you
My
can't,
suggestion
like I
should
said,
be
don't-
that you should put a one-way, and it'd be like Walmart. You have the angle parking, that way you don't get two vehicles coming and one of them's gotta give. That's my. that
You
would be
guys
my-
know as good as anybody, that's nothing but bottlenecks out
it
there.
is,
all the
it is,
time.
yeah.
So then if you're gonna make your driving lanes in between your parking stalls, that's just more area that you're gonna have to surface. So if you make them one way, that's gonna save your money on your tonnage on asphalt and your curbs, that's gonna hold it, on your outside border.
You could have that one way coming in right there on your diagram off of Northland Drive, and that'll all be just one way where nobody can exit. They'll have to go all the way around to the back to the west and then exit back out of there. That way it's complete circle.
So Walmart's about the best way that I can, you got one way, you come up the other way, you go down that way, but that would be my suggestion. And you can paint arrows on the pavement, that way it's like cattle, you just herd them, because if not, then you're gonna have an argument, you're gonna have a PD out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say one little way in and out right there probably isn't gonna work with that many parking spots, I would guess. So,
I know when when I talked to, with Scott about it, that back row is gonna be kind of questionable because of that drainage ditch and stuff. And he asked if we could go farther out to the west, and I said, yes, absolutely, go as far as we need to out there. So, when the first kind of got this concept going, that's basically what I told him. I'm looking for another 200 to 300 parking spots out there. And you guys, definitely weigh in. If that's not enough, want to see more, like I said, if you guys want to approve this, to move forward with this, then that's when Scott can come up with different concepts of what you guys are thinking and whatnot, so.
The only reason why Ira brought me here is, I've been here for 10 years, that's Bartlett and West is all we've used. And every project we've done with them been multi-million-dollar projects, and we haven't had any complaints. They're more than capable of handling a 300 parking spot parking lot. So I would suggest, they're a very good company to work with. I'll put it that way.
And one thing to keep in mind, the more parking stalls you have to also account for, making sure you have so many handicap accessible stalls as a ratio to the number of parking stalls.
So on this, currently, like this, what North London Drive here, that's one way, right? And then they exit out.
Right, that's, yeah, coming off the North London Drive right there, that would be the only way in there.
And they cut the other one off.
Yeah, it's in and out.
That's
That's the only way to the ball field. You can't go in the back if you're not supposed to.
The other gate's locked.
Yeah,
The other gate's locked.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about getting in, yes,
the road.
sorry.
But I was just trying to figure out if it's one way coming down the road, that's gonna be a nightmare, but kind of funnel back out into the wrong direction.
No, if you go up there, Chris, there's a gate up on top of that hill and a gate right by the maintenance shed. I've been kind of keeping them locked up because like Matt, we talked there about last year, or whatever. I mean, people just funnel in and out of there. We're out there mowing and they think it's a scenic drive all the way. And that gravel road is really, it's not for, park use. It's not supposed to, there's a sign out there. I've just been kind of keeping it closed down.
I know it's like when we had soccer games, even baseball, but people were using dust.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah.
flying,
They can drive all the way up to the gate if they want.
They back down all the way back down. I was laughing.
That road
Yeah.
existed, it's kind of, we were headed home, I'm like, why is all their traffic flying down the back of that road?
So I know in the past, we talked about another parking lot on the side here,
Mhm.
and that's not part of this.
Not as of right now, but if it's something that you guys want to add in through there, once we get past this and if you guys want to approve this to move forward with Bartlett and West, then in the concept phase, we can add whatever you guys wish that you want to in there. This was just, I marked those out with the amphitheater and that parking lot. And this is just a picture that I had for right now. Because that's the most area out there. You can leave it out.
So is this something we need to vote on tonight?
I would like to get a vote on it, whether we want to move forward with this or not.
I'm gonna have a,
Sorry, I have one more question.
oh, okay.
What would the timeline look like for this? Like, how long would it take?
Well, let me answer real quick before Scott jumps in. If you guys want to move forward with this, since it is like $36,000, I'll have to make up a resolution to present it to the council. And that way we can move forward with the survey and stuff, and then we'll go through that process first. That would be the very first step. Once that goes through and everything's okay, then he can start his concept and probably give you a better time.
Yeah, as far as, like, I'd say, this is just throwing darts at the board at this point, but, I'd say if we get everything approved through council, it typically takes us 60 to 90 days, so 3 months to kind of get through that concept phase. And once we really narrow that down, we come back and figure out what we're going to go with the final design. And then at that point, it's usually pretty much a lot of the heavy lifting is done. So it only takes about another 1 or 2 months to get to a final design and bid package, and then bidding it and hiring a contractor and all that. You're looking at probably at best summer construction.
Do you think it could be done if we get everything approved, Scott, before June
Yeah.
of next year?
get everything,
approved and everything, you think the project can be completed by next June?
I don't think so. Just being honest,
No,
that's
the park board needs to hear honest.
yeah, I'd say, in all honesty, you can get the project started by June, but you're not gonna have to finish by June. Unless you get a really, really good contractor, but can get in there, knock it out. That's quite a bit of payment to put down, a lot of earth to move and stuff, so.
If we start that around that time frame, how much would it interfere with the existing access and the ability to still use parking that we already?
Well, they won't be working, I mean,
That's what I was thinking.
so they won't work over the weekends and stuff, and it's gonna be really, they got plenty of room out there to, stage equipment and all that stuff, so they shouldn't, I mean, really, they'd just be coming in during the day, doing their work and leaving. They may be using that road, to haul in material or haul out material and stuff, so honestly, during the day, it'll be noisy and, all that, but we can put, job special provisions saying that they are not to use the parking lot. That's reserved for, the residents, and.
That would be good. I know that did happen some of the ball games where there was like trailers and stuff a couple times lined up out there and people were trying to find out who could get them moved or that type of thing.
Right.
Just 'cause there wasn't enough parking already.
But I can say that they won't totally shut down to where you can't use the ball.
So I know this would be in the future. My preference would be to either start before fall season or start after fall season. I know that area currently is used as overflow parking. Like people park there when they're not necessary, and I would think to keep that away.
Gotta get the project started though.
Yeah, of course, but I mean, we also have to think about that time too. We can't just leave people without parking.
Baseball is usually over by June.
Yeah.
Some are right around in there.
Yeah, it's usually done typically by.
I mean, it sounds like we'll be lucky to be started by.
Right, yeah.
Lyra, they was talking about that ops.
Yeah.
Wasn't that in June?
Yeah.
I think that was. Just
We could
throwing that
make a
out there.
stipulation like what Chris is saying, have by July, baseball season's over, that pops event will be done. I mean, they can start whenever they needed to. I mean, so.
After July, that parking lot's not nearly as used.
We could start that project after the 4th if you guys really want. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. You guys have been waiting this long.
Once the proposal comes in, it's a lot easier to make a decision at that point, whether we go for it or not. We don't know what the weather's gonna be like that summer or.
Did you say how long start to finish? Like, once you start?
Once we start, our civil guys are really good, so I can't really speak to the design schedule, other than I'm probably gonna be more conservative than what we could actually, probably get it done quicker than I say.
Well, not necessarily the design, but I'm just saying construction.
Construction, I would say something like this should not take over 2 months, 2 to 3 months. I mean, you get a decent contractor that gets out there and does a job. It's a.
So it could be ready by fall ball and fall soccer.
And I can get you a better answer. I'd go back and talk to our civil guys.
No, I'm just curious, just.
I mean, I would think you're not
Yeah.
the 1st of July, they'd be done by fall for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Is doing something like this, Ira, how far will that push us back on finishing out those 2 ballparks?
My thought of it, Chris, is to get this project completed and then we can start on that for next year after that.
So, I mean, we don't have the parking for those 2 ballparks anyway yet, so,
Yeah.
I mean, if you put those active right.
Let's get the
before
parking
that,
lot done
right.
first.
No, I'm just curious, like, timeline wise, are we thinking maybe the next year we're gonna try to finish those 2 off?
Yeah.
Get them game ready?
That's my goal, is to do this project. This will be the one big project, and we can do some other small stuff. Get this one completed for next year, then the year after that, we can start working on finishing out the 2 ball fields.
I mean, would it be cheaper to have them do the groundwork, like the concrete area in the middle while they're out there, or no?
We're at the ball field.
Mhm.
In between.
I mean, because we've always said that's what we want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Cut down on mobilization.
Fit it out both ways and.
It'd be pretty hard for somebody to come in for that small of a project.
Well, I mean, and I'm not sure about Martland West or nothing. They may have engineers to finish ball fields too.
Do we have?
We do.
funds to do everything in the.
Well, I mean, the way it's gonna look, Kristen, is you're gonna go into multiple, and Tad does this all the time, he goes into multiple fiscal years as far as projects. Like with the streets and stuff on this one here, he's went into 2 fiscal years. So, I mean, you have money set aside for that, but then you get your new money coming in, so.
So with that, like, as far as TAD, like, so is this something we could time with a street project and possibly cut down on costs, maybe next year or something like that?
Possibly.
Well, like, you have a contractor in town already, doing that, like, just curious.
I mean,
Would it cut down on some costs since they're already here, is what I'm saying? Like,
they're gonna get my project done before they start.
I'd rather do ours. Right, but I'm just curious, like, since they're
Well,
already.
that boat goes both ways. If they're working on the parking lot, Tad's gonna have to wait.
Right. I was just curious, like, if that's a
I
possibility.
mean, they're gonna have the streets completely ripped out, torn out, they're gonna have to get that put back before they can.
Right.
And a lot of construction crews aren't
Yeah,
big enough to handle 2 projects like that.
and or you're gonna have to pay them way more.
But I'm just saying, once
You could line them up.
finish with that, then they bring in the concrete and the pavement crews, then the dirt crews could feasibly go to the parks then. And then by the time they get done with the dirt work, get their storm drains and all that put in, then hopefully they would have that done, then the paving and concrete crews can move to that, and then that would cut down on your mobiles. It's possible.
Planning
I
wise.
think they'd want it as business.
Absolutely, and then that would be towards the end of the year. So they're gonna be looking for jobs towards that end to finish them out and finish the crews
If
out.
that's something that.
But
you
we might
guys-
have a rainy July and August like we did this year. You never know.
And if that's something you guys want to do, I can talk to Scott and see if he has engineers for finishing out the ball fields. And while they're there, they could do another project, so.
Or at least have it
I can
designed and
answer
everything
that
with it.
one. We do that. Yeah.
You do have engineers over there?
Let's go.
They're going both.
And so, yeah, it wouldn't hurt just to have, what that would cost to add on to that design,
Okay, I can give you a second, proposal to add that scope, and if you guys decide to do that later, we just add it on as an addenda to that contract.
So you want to do, your thoughts, Chris, are the parking lot and the finishing out the ball fields.
Yeah.
All on one, basically, resolution.
At least have it engineered so it's ready to go when we're ready to go with that project. And we have the design concept done, everything's ready to go, so we're not sitting here waiting another 6 months or whatever to get another design done and everything else.
More seamless to it. You can tell the difference between projects, where this one ends and that one started, it all like works the right way.
Especially if they're here working on the parking lot and stuff, To me, as a worker, that would be nice to know that, hey, we got another year's worth of work right here.
I'd like to see it all done, actually, so.
That's my goal, man. Any other questions for Scott or Tad while they're here? I'm sorry, Al, that was
Okay, no.
stepping on
No
your
problem.
shoes.
Being on that, I spend enough late nights here. So I'm gonna go and spend time with my family.
Thank you for coming.
You bet. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we just have to make a motion if anybody wants to do that.
Well, we're waiting on a resolution first, right? Or we
Well, no,
go?
we
You said,
need to get your approval on that, or vote on
you
that.
said we could make it.
Yeah.
Yes. At least we can
I'm
start,
happy to,
then we can make an addendum on that.
Lisa have something? Do
Lisa?
you have something, Lisa?
sorry, Ira. Yeah, that's that silly delay. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I was just gonna say, will gladly make a motion to pass or send it to the city council for the resolution.
Don't act like you're in an airport.
I think she made a motion, right? Is that right, Lisa? You're kind of cutting out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm making that motion to pass, sending this to the city council for resolution.
Okay, have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, have a second, any discussion? I think we have discussion, guys.
I think we probably just need to make an addendum to the motion that we're okay with this unless they come back with another scope, and then we vote on it.
Well, it'll change the amount, so we're gonna have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, but at least it is moving forward with this project and for, yeah, moving forward with this. That way Scott can, if he has the okay after we get the okay from city council, he can start getting you guys concepts of what it actually looks like.
So we don't need to specify that this is until we get another one.
I would vote on what you got in front of you. And then if he wants to adjust it or something like that, because if he adjusts it, to be quite honest, I'm gonna have to I'm not sure how to do that off the top of the head, but I think it's called the change order. We'll have to come back with that also, but at least we're moving forward with this, what he's got quoted.
We got a motion.
We got a
Anything else?
motion, we got discussion, and we got a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you, Lisa.
30 seconds later.
We're still in new business, B.
Park board nomination. Member nominations. I have two here. I don't know, did I put them in your packets?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I did. I put them in your packets. I didn't want to email them because I didn't want to get that information out over the internet and all that fun stuff. But we have two applications for one position for the park board. The first one is Stephanie Belshie, who is a resident of Cameron, and she is here tonight. And she can introduce herself if you guys don't know her or ask her any questions.
No, I'm Stephanie Belshie, born and raised in Gallatin. I've lived here probably 22 years, maybe now. Okay, sorry, 23. We had to move here for my husband's job. So I also worked at Cameron Mutual for 24 years. So we have a grown son who also lives in Cameron. So this is probably where we'll end up, I imagine. So this has been really interesting. I've never been to a park board meeting before. I thought it was really interesting, and I can really see that I think you guys are trying to move forward in a positive way. I think Ira and all his crew has done a great job. I think you guys are really I think last year, people kind of got a bad taste of the park board and with all that what happened, but I think now I can really see positive change. It seems to be moving forward, so I would not mind being part of that.
I'll pay you later.
Yeah, right now. But I also want it noted, I am the one that suggested to Troy that he put his application in for park board because he's my neighbor. I've known him a long time. He's a stellar dude, so he would also be good. Stella.
I've heard you call a lot of things, but
Don't ask me, I don't know.
Anything else, Steph?
No, unless you guys have questions for me.
Our next applicant that has put an application in is Mr. Troy Troy Green.
My name's Troy Green. I've lived in Cameron for, 20 years. After returning from the deployment, my wife was from here. And, we just stayed. I worked at the Department of Corrections. Then I started with Cameron PD. I was there until 2012. I went to the Missouri Air National Guard full time after that, and then medically retired. And now I just work security. I work at the dispensary. So, but other than that, I know the reason, once we were out for a walk and we saw Stephanie, and she mentioned to me, I'm kind of on the Cameron forum sometimes, but I do remember when the pool park was up for some type of vote for a rec center there. And I ever since that happened, I've never agreed with that, because you take a free resource that a lot of families here use, and they were wanting to put something that was charged. So to me, that wasn't right. I mean, no disrespect if someone, like that claim, but to me, I think that's the reason why I actually wanted to join, is so that, I guess, things like that may not happen or go up again. There's a lot to learn, I understand that, but I think parks are important to any town. We have some really good ones, and I hate to see them go away. So, not that that's what you're planning, but so can't run for office.
Money in for the park.
What's that?
I'm trying to bring more money in for the park.
Well, can't run for office, so I figured I'd try for the park. So, thank you.
Any other questions for Stephanie or Troy? You guys can either table that and think about it.
I have a
Do you want,
question.
or
If there was one thing that would be on the top of your list to either implement or to improve upon for the parks, what would it be?
For me, it would be the vandalism. I know you guys have worked leaps and bounds, for that, but like with what Marty and them were saying about the soccer field, I live 2 blocks from the soccer field. So that really upsets me. My husband's also on the police department, so that just, any kind of, that vandalism, I mean, when you work so hard and you put the funds into making something really nice, especially when they vandalize the bathroom, I mean, whatever can be done to stop that from happening, if it takes, some of us patrolling them at night at 9 o'clock with a baseball bat, down for that. I mean, it makes me sick. It makes me sick that is something that, that would probably be toward the top of my list, would be try to get that.
Did you pitch that to both?
Yeah,
I'm
both
so
of you.
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're
I have a
fine.
hearing aid. I can't hear that part. I'm sorry. I think, as far as, I don't know if you would call it personal agenda or what, but I think, and again, I mean no disrespect, but when you look at our park system online or social media, there's not much there. No offense to anybody. But you have other towns that they really promote their disc golf, where they have other assets that people can actually come to town and utilize. Reservoirs, we get a lot of people, like he said. I think one of the goals I would have is try to figure out how we can boost our footprint on social media and maybe attract people in to our parks, if that makes sense. I'm not very well spoken, but I just want to do cool stuff online to bring people here to do cool stuff in our town. So, to break it down so I can
That's
understand.
great. We have discussed that in years past, like a whole programming side of the world for parks, where they're having events in the parks or the movie night at the pool. I mean, we have discussed lots of that stuff, but we've never had the staff, a consistent staff, I would say, over the years, to actually get a program going and have somebody take control of that. So it has been, like I say, it's a great idea. Would love to see that happen, because I know, like, I worked in Lawson for a lot of years, and their park board was very active in doing those like they would have, you know, cops and bobbers. You know, I brought that up here one time, like they'd have all the police department go out, they'd have fishing for the kids at the pond. You know, they would have like reading nights in the park. I mean, just a whole program schedule, like here's our schedule for the year, here's what's going on this day, where people could look at the schedule and say, yeah, would love to see that. But, you know, it's gonna take a lot of moving parts and a lot of people.
Absolutely, and it, like you said, it does come down to personnel, time, volunteers, and that's always hard, especially in this day and age where everybody works.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I completely understand that, and no, it is a large hill to go up, but, you know.
That's a lot of the same people volunteering to do the same thing.
Right.
You know, so it's like, it definitely takes a village for sure.
If it would make it easier, like if we left and then you guys could discuss, I know it's hard to talk about people when they're right in the room. So, well, I mean, like, I'm just saying, if you guys wanted to like, if you guys wanted to finish this or whatever, and you're all here, it would make sense for us that we've presented we've listened, we you know who we are now, so we could. I'm ready to get the hell out of here and just say the honest God. I mean, seriously, I've been gone all day, so.
So, I guess I'll bring it up. So we've got 2 applicants and
And Robbie,
9 people here on the board.
Robbie was our,
Robbie's already done.
our communicator online. He did a lot for the park board online. He's gone.
Probably got a letter from the city.
So we're voting to see who's gonna kick Chris off the board, right?
Right.
Let me go back to last meeting. This is what really upset me, and I was gonna say it, but as you're calling me. When we talked about, and I don't mean any bad things about our new board member, we said no. We wanted him to come to this meeting so we could interview him. Well, the next thing you know, Robbie's gone, he's on the board. That's how things are done, and it's not right. I'm sorry.
None of us going through the park board. None of the new park board members are going through the park board.
And you've
They're
got
going
2
straight to city
applicants.
council.
Who's that going to replace? Is it going to be Kristen? Is it going to be
No,
Matt?
no, Chris.
Or is it going to be Chris?
Chris's position on the board.
So my position is that city council should reevaluate our current member before we proceed.
They already reevaluated, they voted not to reappoint Chris.
Correct. I'm asking that they vote again.
Not digging anything in. When you asked me out the other day about, or last meeting or whatever, about keeping Chris and Robbie on the board, all that's out of my hands. The city council had voted not to reappoint them.
But they put their applications in on time.
Yeah, and they've still voted not to reappoint them.
And the city council has the ability to pick and choose whoever they want, even if you guys do not nominate that person. They can look through any other applications they have and pick whoever they want, per their policy.
Like, we can all want Troy on the board and they say, we don't care what you want. We want Stephanie.
Yeah.
And then it's never happened
Not
in
making
the-
this sound very appealing, let me tell you.
It's never
But
happened in
that's
the
our
history of the
frustration.
park
I
board.
get it now.
So,
See, I was not fair.
It's nothing against either one of you, but
Right.
I don't think it's fair that Chris is being kicked out of the board.
No.
And I would like city
Robbie.
council to vote again.
Well, they're gonna vote the same way. And you know it, and I know it, and I hate it, but what are you gonna do?
Okay, this isn't a discussion. Let's move forward. If you guys aren't gonna vote while they're here, if you want them to go, you can vote, or you can table it, whatever you want to do.
If we table it, they're just going to vote what they want to vote to come next city council.
But I know, Al. I'm just trying to keep the ship moving forward.
That was a P, right?
am just gonna say, I love Chris, I think he's a huge asset, but at the same time, like, I feel like we need to make a decision or else the decision is made for us. And I don't feel like that's fair, I feel like we should have a decision, that. And I'm really sad to lose Chris and Robbie, because I feel like they were both huge assets. But
And it's gonna be the same way when I come up for renewal next year, it's gonna be the same way.
Yeah.
Because we were on the board.
Their renewals are
and-
before ours,
Yeah.
so that won't be an issue.
My comment, I guess, would just be that I feel like there's a city council that is trying to remove anybody and everybody that has any prior knowledge of anything that's been happening and going on, whether it be finances, whether it be anything. That's how I feel. And it's not the entire city council.
I'm just going to make a motion to, have Troy be our new board.
We have a motion for Mr. Troy Green. We have a second. No second. Motion fails. I would encourage anybody in this room to get on Facebook and read Mark McLaughlin's latest entry about a man who came to Cameron, wanted to apply for city manager. And he did a lot of investigating, and Mark has sat on this for a while, but he has posted it on Facebook today. And I encourage you to take a look at that. It's an evaluation of Cameron and the city council that's running it.
I just remind, I guess one last thought is, the park board that was here that they're trying to get rid of, that was basically responsible for even having a parks department, is about all gone due to our city council. We put in a lot of time, a lot of nights, a lot of work to get us to the point where we're at. And, whenever I started, we were lucky to have $50,000 to be able to spend on a playground.
Yeah.
And ever since we got, $1 million a year coming in from a half-cent sales tax, everything changed at that point. And that is when everything with our board turned a different direction because of the money.
Well, let me ask the park board this, are you gonna have another nomination for Stephanie, or what do you do with that?
Me personally, being a new park board member and learning a lot of the history right now, I would like to make a motion if possible if we can discuss this and make a vote at the next meeting after we've had a chance to kind of digest some of this information. I don't know exactly how it works, but
I absolutely agree with Chris. This
voting for somebody that I just met, to not be on the board and learning about the history of their experience doesn't quite feel right without at least putting some thought and personally some prayer into it.
We can table this and put it on the next agenda. Or you?
Just know it's probably gonna be handled by.
Yeah, by then, though, it's.
Right. I mean, it's just like Robbie got a letter in the mail. He got a letter in the mail. No one had ever called and asked him to continue serving past his nomination date. The council was supposed to appoint somebody by June 1st, and they failed to do that. So they just kept trying to solicit people to come sign up for park board. Oh, why don't you put your application in? Why don't you put your application so they could replace people that have been sitting on here for years and doing a lot of good work, including Robbie. I mean, Robbie got on not too long after I did. Was that 2020? Yeah, 2021.
We had originally talked about putting ballparks out at that little place behind Walmart by the prison. This man came up with where it is now, Old Somerville. This is the man that came to the park board made the presentation, we've sat through how many meetings to get taxes passed, and this is where we are.
Anybody else?
Ira, it's Lisa again. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay. I just, being new to the park board, and I think I said some of this in my email that I got my hand smacked for sending. um, I can appreciate and acknowledge all of the great work that you all have done as well. But what comes to mind here to me is, you know, let's take a look at what we've been doing and figure out or decide, has it been successful in trying to keep Chris, in trying to keep Robbie, in trying to, you know, whatever we're trying to do, whether it's expose things that we think are not, you know, happening right, whatever the case may be. What I feel like is missing is where's our, you know, where's our representation, right? When we're talking to the city council, who's representing us? And I know, Ira, obviously you do as the park director, but I feel like there needs to be representation from the park board that is participating with the city council. So in, you know, the most professional way we can, because I know there are a lot of emotions here, but until we start taking it directly to the folks that are making these decisions and give our, you know, explain to them what we're trying to accomplish, I kind of feel like we're all going to be stuck here. And I would hate to see us let perfection get in the way of progress. And again, Chris, please know, and if Robbie's in the room as well, this has nothing to do with whether, you know, I am not in one way, either way, politicking for you to stay or go. I don't have a dog in the fight in terms of that. But I just, when we get down to the brass tacks of it, I feel like we have an obligation as a park board to participate in the city council meetings so that our voices can be heard. Because I think there's only so much that Ira can do in, you know, in that instance.
Lisa,
I don't know what our.
Can you hear me?
I can. Mm-hmm.
We have had joint sessions with city council in the past. A lot of times, I don't feel like there was a lot of teamwork or collaboration involved, I would say. It felt like a lot of times they would schedule them maybe 30 minutes before the council meeting started. And then you had basically 20 minutes to talk, and it's like you couldn't really get in and even get a lot of discussions going. You know, it's like you couldn't get a night set aside for like a 2 or 3 hour meeting if you needed to. So yeah, that's been a frustration over the years.
I can understand.
Whether it was city manager or city council, however it was being scheduled. You know, and a lot of this was before Ira was here too. So because, you know, we've had superintendents in the past that we, you know, a lot of times we had the city manager filling in, or we had the utilities director filling in, or whoever was even just filling in for that position. It's like that wasn't the regular job. I mean, we actually have somebody now that is their job, you know, but like you say, I think those discussions do definitely need to happen on a regular basis. But you have to have a city council that is willing to be open and listen and understand those.
Having said all that too, Chris, you could have park board member could talk to Shelley about getting put on the agenda during a city council meeting.
Or run for council.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
I don't think that.
If you guys aren't happy with the council, then run for council.
So, and Chris is, talking about table that, how we're gonna meet. If you guys want to table that and talk about it next meeting, you're gonna need a motion in a second.
I'll make the motion to table it until next meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All not in favor?
We'll abstain from that.
I'm abstaining as well.
Did you get all that, Teresa? I don't know.
No, not exactly. Chris, first, did you second it? Okay, I got it. Thanks.
You guys vote.
Yes.
If I'm able, I would abstain.
Okay. Ira, old business.
First item on there, I put on there for electing a park board president.
You said that maybe the main role of this is they present like the numbers and the finances to the city council.
The annual report, and then they, like what Al's doing, will delegate the meetings and stuff like that, and go through the agenda item. Any ceremonial type stuff, you know, with the parks, whatever. We have, for instance, example, if we have a ribbon cutting or something, the president of the park board will be in the paper, and stuff like that.
Anybody here, raise your hand if you want this job. I know.
We can put some names in a hat. Well, that's what's hard is like, just listening to him speak, I mean, for me, you'd want somebody who's got years of service and so I don't know, like
another role of that too, Cass, is that, you know, the president, you know, if wants to see something, if talks to other members, if another member, say Kristen wants something on the agenda, she'll go through the president.
Right.
Or maybe get it on the agenda or whatever else too. And it's not a death-defying role by no means, but you gotta have at least somebody.
Sure.
I'm guessing the best candidate probably can't be nominated, right? I'm just going off his words.
No,
Al's been here the longest.
that doesn't matter. I'm a lot wiser, let me tell you.
Well, I absolutely believe it should be someone with more experience, but if no one else will do, I will throw my hat in the name just so that way someone can represent them.
Right.
Yeah.
Al, I want to nominate you.
No, no, thank
You've
you.
been doing such a good job.
No, thank you, dear.
I suppose you can nominate yourself.
I would nominate Kristen. Her dad did it a long time. It's in their blood.
No.
Are you nominating yourself?
I don't necessarily want to nominate myself, like I said, I really believe.
I may not be here much longer, so I'm gonna let somebody else.
And not just,
None of us, none
not
of
just
us.
to Chris, but anybody with more experience, I feel like they have a better ability to speak to what needs to be spoken to than someone who's brand new onto the board, but I also don't want us to just
Well, I mean,
kick it out again and not have someone to represent us.
Same thing with the presidents, listen to the board, you know, comments and what they want to do and push forward and just basically be representative of the board. You know, it's like Lisa was talking about, you know, I personally think the park board needs to be heard at the city council meeting. I totally get what Chris was talking about too, you know, having joint meetings in the past and stuff, and obviously most of them haven't really worked out, but you guys can, you know, the president can get on the agenda if he wants to talk about something with the city council and be professional and polite and go forward and maybe try to repair whatever's been broken in the past. I don't know. I know I'm trying to be the liaison and stuff and do the job for the parks department and do the best I can with stuff. And my hands are tied on certain things too, so.
Sorry, I don't know the procedure. Can you do like an interim, board president till you get the spots?
No, you just table it until one of these guys will make a nomination to go forward with it. What we did in the last meeting, they didn't want to elect one, and so we had one yet.
We have 2 nominations.
Have 2 nominations.
Me?
You were nominated. You were nominated. And then nomination. So.
Your dad was the president for like 30 years.
You got 2 nominations, so you got Chris, and you guys can take a vote if you guys want Chris or for Kristen, I guess. I don't know.
Unless there's somebody else.
Like I said, I don't know the rule on nominate yourself, but we're gonna go with it. So I would say do Kristen or Chris first and see who votes for it.
Okay, we have a nomination, Chris, to be president. Any all in favor, or we vote?
Aye.
I will abstain because
I will abstain.
may not be here.
I'm gonna abstain, I'm sorry.
Yeah, same here. I guess, and again, Chris, I feel like this is sounding like I'm not for you, and that's, I don't even know you, so I can't say it either way. But I guess I'm struggling to understand why we would put forth a name that we know that the council, at least at this point, has said.
Chris Hurst, Lisa.
That,
There's 2 Chris. There's 2 Chris's. One's Chris Hurst, one's Chris Wilkinson. The nomination was for Chris Hurst.
I will shut up now. I'm an I.
No last name.
We got 1 vote for Chris. Abstain, Matt.
Abstain. I'll vote for Chris.
Kayla. And vote for Chris. Lisa?
She abstains.
My vote's for Chris. Yes, Chris Hurst. I'm good.
Okay.
Aye.
2, 3, 4. Enough for, well, I guess he got, I don't know, you gotta have 5, but he can't vote, so.
Kristen, you've withdrawn your name.
Yeah, I thought I.
You can withdraw your own name.
Yeah, I'm withdrawing my own name. Oh, man, these minutes are gonna be so fun.
So the motion fails because you guys only had 4 votes because you guys abstained on Chris Hurst's nomination. That's what I'm pointing out.
Who's next?
She is withdrawing her name. So apparently there's no park board president unless there's another nomination for somebody. Okay.
Can we talk about, and I apologize if this is common procedure that I just am not understanding quite yet. What are our options? Can we talk about it to see? I mean, I guess why are we abstaining? If we have a legitimate new park board member that it has been nominated, I guess that's what.
Yeah. Not really. When you abstain, it's a vote for no. With 9-member board, you have to have 5 votes to pass something. So we only have 4.
No, I won't abstain. I'll vote yes.
Okay. So that takes care of it, right? Hear that?
There you go,
President?
Okay, so I guess.
Sorry, Teresa.
Matt Vaughn is changing his vote to a yes. So Chris Hurst is now the park board president. I don't know if that's legal or parliament procedures. I don't know, but let's move forward. Thank you for changing your vote, Matt.
Yeah. I would still like to see if we could ask city council to reevaluate what we currently have. What's the worst that can happen? They don't make a decision.
What do you mean reevaluate?
If they're willing to keep Chris,
They already voted.
no, I'd like for them to revote.
Then you need to talk to City Hall about that, about getting put on the agenda about talking about that. Would be
So
my
can I make a
recommendation.
motion to us recommend them revote?
That's not on the agenda to do. You can do that in your comments. I mean, if that's something you guys want to talk about in the comments from the park board and move forward with that, more welcome, and then you guys can get on the agenda, or I can tell Shelley to put it on the agenda about consolidate, however that word is, about old members, but I'm not, just being truthful, I doubt they will revote on it. I don't know.
I mean,
Stranger things have happened.
sometimes you gotta vote on things you don't want
Yeah, you
to.
don't want to.
Okay, next item out.
Okay, annual report.
I put this on there, for whoever was gonna be the president stuff. I think, I talked to Shelley about it, and basically, if I told you guys what the annual report is, the guy that's gonna write it. Basically, a year's worth of what you guys completed, and then what you want to see done in the future and stuff, is basically all it is.
It's not the financial report.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to see, you named us several things, since you've been here,
Mm-hmm.
okay, for the year, okay.
Yeah.
I would like to see as,
Hang on just a second now.
okay.
Bye, Steph.
Bye, guys.
Thanks
Sorry,
for
I've got to
coming.
go. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
I got the definition. I'm sorry. I just want to let you guys know what Shelley told me.
Okay,
It is a written statement of the projects and the future projects of the parks, and the park board member will need to present it to the city council in September or October. So I would say in one of the October meetings, get it to put on the agenda so you guys can present your annual report.
I would like to see Chris Wilkerson do that. Make the presentation to the city council as the last act of,
What?
I would like to see him do that.
The annual report?
Yes,
No, you guys just elected a
That'll be
president.
the president.
Yeah, the president has
The
to.
president does that.
okay.
Yeah,
Poor guy.
very clear that's the
So,
responsibility.
but that's next month.
Yeah.
That's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Well, you don't have to.
October 6th.
They got October 6th, and what's the?
I thought it was September or October.
Yeah, no more council meetings until the 6th.
The 6th or the 20th is the next two council meetings.
okay. Yeah. It was a good idea.
Not try out.
I know.
Okay.
You're the one that got all of this.
I'm not trying to make this difficult.
No, it's almost 8 o'clock.
Okay, go to parkland for sale.
What I came up with is what Kristen asked me about with and if you guys, some of you weren't here, it's been brought up last meeting to try to sell that track. I think it's 10 or 15 acres out by Walmart. It's east of the substation out there. Lance has been trying to list some properties for sale from the city and whatnot, and he asked about that. And I had it on the agenda for last time to try to get a vote from you guys to go ahead and proceed with that, but Kristen wanted to know thank you, 7% is what it would be.
I will give you I wasn't here, so what was discussed on it?
I don't know either.
It was selling of that land.
I know. Well, so we talked about that years back.
Yeah.
When we were looking for funds, like for the new park and everything and all that, but like, and I think it was Troy. Didn't you come to a meeting one time? We were talking about like a beat, because I was like, I'm not necessarily for selling it, like, I guess myself. I know you had come to a meeting, I believe, talked about like maybe a BMX track or something like that. And so we had started discussing like, well, maybe we could put something like that up there someday, you know, as part of the parks or something like that. I mean, I don't remember when it was, but I know we came to a meeting and talked about that. But what's that?
You're giving me more to do.
No, I'm just talking like long-term, you know, it's like, you know, so if we need growth that direction or You know, say a huge developer comes in and they're like, hey, the city's gonna do something with that land. I mean, maybe it's another 10 or 15 acres that we could get more out of at that time. When the city were to sell them,
I will
that
say
lot
this,
behind Walmart that's like 60 acres.
what Lance is telling me what's going for right now is $20,000 an acre. You got roughly 15 acres over there.
And it's not gonna go down. But, you know, will there ever be a time that we want to expand? You know, like you
After
were
19
talking
years,
about
you can
years back,
expand all you want.
you know, so I'm just saying, I mean, that has been brought up.
No.
So, and that wouldn't be a horrible place to do something like that, you know, or it lays pretty decent. So,
They were asking me about it, so I put it on the agenda for you guys to talk about and whether you guys want to do it or not.
you missed it, you have to do an annual report, by the way. Okay.
You have less than 30 days to get
By
that accomplished.
October 20th, on the next city council meeting, I'll talk to Shelley about it.
It's only 50.
So are you wanting a vote whether we want to sell this now?
If you guys want to, because it was on last meeting, so it was something for you guys to think about, and Kristen, she wanted to know what the interest rate was.
With the annual report, will that be something that we'll kind of discuss through what the board plans on presenting to them?
We won't have another meeting before you have to do
Yeah,
it.
you guys want to have another meeting? What, I think you were gone, basically all it is, Chris, I wrote it down so I didn't say it wrong, is written statement of the projects and the future projects that the parks and the park board member will need to go to the city council in September or October. So October 20th is, we'll give you, the next one's the 6th. I don't want to rush you through it, so you can probably present it on the 20th. So if you want, you can email me or give me a call. And since you haven't been on here very long, I can kind of give you a rundown on the projects that we've done. What we're, obviously, you know, we're going to do the parking lot out there and redo the ball field. So there's your two futures. And give you a rundown on what we've accomplished since I've been. If you email me and say, hey, Dummy, remember what you're gonna tell me? I will email you back and you can start your statement and be pretty cut and dry. I don't think it'd take you more than 5 minutes. Back to the park land for sale. Like I said, this has been on the agenda in the past and stuff. Kristen had wanted to know before they voted on it before, so we tabled it. And now if you guys are interested in selling it, it's gonna come with 7% interest on it. You guys can make money off of that and put it back into the account for the purchase. Fund 12 or 15, I'm not sure which one. Because I would think it would probably go back in 12. I could find that out. Because I mean, it's park improvements.
It's not part of that estimate sales tax, so.
No, so I would say it would probably go back into 12 because it's an improvement for that. Because I mean, that's what it was purchased for, was park improvement. So regardless, even if they change the wording or whatever for the two funds, and that, to me, that's where it needs to go.
So if we were to sell this, we do get funds, and it's put in the fund from, I know they're giving it a $200,000 budget, but if we are putting money into that, would we still have that $200,000 budget, or would we have the $200,000 budget plus what we sell that in?
Yes, you have
So we're not
200,000.
just stuck at that $200,000.
No, not if you sell this land.
Okay.
The 200,000 is the yearly basis of the tax revenue that comes in for your guys' fund.
I'm sorry.
There's no discussion from it.
Okay.
I don't, not to be a jerk, but.
No, that's cool. I still have
Present
that.
public participation anymore.
I apologize. No, that's all right.
Are we supposed to vote on that, Ira?
You guys would like to?
This discussion, I'm going, me personally, I feel like it would be more, well, do we have anything planned coming out of that?
For the fund?
Out of Fund 12, like anything
No.
planned? Okay.
No, I mean, because that's what you guys need to plan, what you want to
Right.
build or something, so.
I feel like there's no real need to sell it right now, just because we don't have anything in place. We don't need the funds right
Keep it back for like savings, yeah.
Right. When we were discussing selling it years back, we didn't have the funds. So that's what we were
Yeah, you're gonna
thinking.
get money off of it.
We were gonna get money off of it to go towards either grading or whatever we needed to do, that other piece of property, but it ended up coming in less than what it was gonna be up there. So, I mean, I'm with Kristen on that. I don't
Make
see
a
any
motion
need to.
and go from there.
I think you've been filled up, I guess.
So we need to make a motion even if we don't want it, just to deny
Yeah,
it.
much like that. Kristen, should make a motion that she doesn't want to sell the land at this time, and you get second, you vote.
I'll make a motion, we don't sell the land at this time.
now.
We got a first and a second. Any discussion? Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay. All right. We are down to comments from the board. I think we've lost Lisa. Are you there, Lisa?
Yeah, I think
She's gone, time
stepped
out.
out.
Okay.
She
We'll
tried.
start down there with you at the end.
I kind of like what Matt was talking about. I feel like what Lisa was saying too, like having representation at the city council, and also I feel like if everyone does feel the same way of having them discuss, more or re-vote on Chris, that all of us being present at that city council meeting is the only way that you're going to, get something like that accomplished. But I think that that's something maybe that we should really think about.
I would love to see all of us there on the 6th.
The only other thing I had to say, Ira, I got that contact information for you from my IEC friend out of the prison that has the funds and different services that they can provide and allocate for the park board. So I don't know if I need to give that directly to you or to him or whoever, but
Just show it to Chris and they can email me, just copy both of us in on it.
Okay.
One comment I will make that all about everybody showing up at the park board. Remind you guys that the city council has 2 different times for public participation. And if you guys wish to be on the agenda, all you gotta do is call Shelley and see if you guys can get on the agenda, depending on the size of it, whatever business that they have or whatever, but you guys can get on there and make time for that to tell them how you.
Was it 2 days notice
We
then?
would also have to, let them know, but there's gonna be.
No. I mean, if you want to get on the agenda.
Yeah, isn't that a
You have a quorum.
quorum?
Oh,
They've got to post that there's an actual
see, I'm still
meeting,
crazy about that.
so.
But yes, you're probably right.
That would be kind of feedback off the cast and what we talked about. That was, are there other boards that have representation in city council meetings regularly, or are we the only board that's not, or?
No,
We are the
there's no
only
other board
board
that has
that's in
representation.
control. The rest of the board,
City council.
I kind of feel like maybe whether it's the president or if we just at least have the opportunity to where one of the park board members could be at the city council, at least that way we have the representation to kind of speak to what we're doing, or at least chime in from our perspective as far as the decisions that they're maybe making, or at least be able to come back and tell people about what's going on.
I would say I'm happy either way. I mean, it's been a good run for the parks for a lot of years. We have dealt with and went through a lot of heartaches, a lot of hardships. We've prevailed in some of them, not all of them. And I think anybody that was here tonight would be great on the board to serve as well. So I don't think Robbie deserved to be off the board either. Robbie never did do anything wrong for the board, so I think he still deserves his spot. And it's unprecedented times, I would say, that the park board has never seen this kind of control trying to be taken and manipulated of the park board. And so it's been very, very discouraging for a little while, some of the stuff we've been dealing with. And it does need to see some change. And I don't know where or when that's going to happen, but with some of our city leadership, there definitely needs to be some change with the control that has happened. So, but like I say, I've been appreciative of all the years I've got to be here. And if I'm not at the next meeting, that's perfectly fine. I'll have more time with my family and, be able to devote some more time there as well. So I appreciate you guys stepping up and stepping in. So.
Question?
No.
Yeah, your turn. We're coming this way.
I don't. And I think that I would love to see both of you in some sort of role within the city. I don't know that it would happen or if you even want to, but I think you both would be fantastic in any area you choose to be in.
Gayla?
Additional comment.
And our newest.
The only thing I got is it's kind of surreal a little bit because like, it is like how Chris talked about earlier. I was approached to put in, hey, go fill out an app,
Yeah,
who
we
approached
know
you?
that happened all over
Who
Kansas.
approached me? Debbie Hunt, my broker. Yeah. So I have a relationship with her, but.
For sure.
And I do things for the community. I was like, that's fine. I take the kids to the park. I'll go see if I can help out, But the way it sounds like is they do ask you to put in an app and then you do the next thing it's like, all right, show up today. And then you're here, you're sitting here, So it's all different because what it sounds like to me.
What's different though?
Right. Well, exactly. Well, what it sounds like to me, the best guy for this board is sitting right here, Chris. I don't know, but just from hearing everybody talk about it, he sounds like the best. Robbie, who I guess I took his spot, maybe he sounds like a good dude everybody likes. So for them to be able to pick, like, hey, like I didn't have to interview for anything. It was just it's really weird, just. But anyways. Happy to be here, but
We're happy to have you, yes.
It's just, it is like, how do you not sit down with the board members here and be like, hey, who are you?
Well, that's
They
what
don't
we
know
wanted.
me.
We wanted you here for this meeting so we could interview you.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
it's what you would do. If I'm hiring somebody for my company, I'm not gonna just say, show up tomorrow and let's go to work, it's weird. But anyways, that's all.
Things are different. Okay, Matt.
I'd like to thank Robbie for coming back even after getting fired. We'll miss you. I'm sorry I didn't get a fight for you like I'm trying for Chris, but it didn't work out time frame wise. I'd like to see a lot more council participation here. So that's all I got. I've made my stance pretty clear tonight, I think.
I'm only gonna say that the problem started with Steve Rasmussen, the city manager. He took control of everything, changed everything, not for the good. And here we are in purgatory, I'll say. And what happens next, I don't know. But if you do make it a point to talk and we go to the next city council meeting, let everybody know, let's show up for Chris.
Do you know,
I
Ira?
appreciate that.
What's that?
Is it 2 days?
You know, they have a 48-hour notice, I think.
I'm not putting my case.
I'd like to see it in the minutes.
I mean, I can, I remember.
Probably
all the-
put it in the
Huh?
Put it in the minutes.
Sorry, Teresa.
It's
I know it's a
fine, no,
lot.
it's fine.
It's officially being said.
Ready for, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
The only thing I want to say real quick is, if you guys want to, Chris, since you're the president, if you want to get on the agenda, please email me and let me know if the rest of the park board is going to be there. Like I said, I'm still new with the quorum thing. It's not, that's, I know it's rules, but it's kind of crazy, so just let me know. Okay.
Does everybody in here is on the email that you send out, right?
Oh, yeah.
mean, if everybody,
You see on it yet?
if everybody just wants to, please don't reply all, but if you at least want to reply to me and let me know if you plan on being there, that way I can get a count of how many and let you know as soon as possible.
Good.
I can already tell you. If you're able to come, my son has a
It'd be nice for you to have everybody's phone numbers and everything too, probably. All the emails,
Yeah, my phone number
contact
is
list.
dwindled.
Yeah, with all the new members and everything, it would be good to, for you to at least have that.
Are we ready to adjourn?
Well, you got anything?
Does anyone have anything for me?
Appreciate what you've done.
Then I don't have.
Thanks for all your
Yeah, thank you for the
work.
hard work, man. I see you out there all the time.
I love the parks.
You guys have been doing great
Thank you.
on the maintenance side and
That's why I have a lovely
keeping
tenant.
things ready, so. The park does look a lot better out, you know, it looks like you guys been starting to get caught up on stuff and
Trying.
it is showing,
We're,
so, and people notice it.
We're waiting to get our edger back from the shop, and once that happens, we'll really spruce up the crews.
And when the grass stops growing, I'm gonna start trimming.
Playground's been
trees.
busy. Playground's been busy.
Mhm.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor, let's go.
Aye. Joey, always good to see you. Sorry not to throw hate, shade.
Not at all. I find it interesting, yeah, complex, so. But, thank you, Al. How are you? City council. Good.